Welcome to free CSCS and CPCS video course, the latest, CITB Health and Safety Lessons, 2021, UK. First aid and emergency procedures. Every site should have procedures in place in case of an emergency such as fire, serious injury, collapse, people trapped or needing rescue, or chemical spill. You must know the following information: how to raise the alarm, where to go and what to do, what the alarm sounds or looks like, the escape or evacuation route. Information should be given during site induction and displayed on notice boards or signs. Remember, sites are constantly changing and so can emergency escape routes. Make sure you always know your escape route and where any equipment you may need is kept. You should also be familiar with any emergency procedures that form part of your safe system of work, such as confined space rescue and rescue from height. You and your site employer. What your site and employer should do for you. 1. Tell you the first aid and emergency procedures during the site induction. 2. Maintain emergency escape routes and equipment. 3. Provide first aiders and develop first aid procedures. 4. Display emergency information, contacts, and telephone numbers. 5. Provide emergency and rescue equipment. 6. Make accident books available and make sure records are confidential once completed. What you should do for your site and employer. 1. Be aware of the emergency procedures relating to your own workplace and safe system of work. 2. Know how to raise the alarm. 3. Know where and how to get first aid. 4. Know what to do in an emergency or site evacuation. 5. Know where to gather if there is an emergency. 6. Make sure the details of any accident you have are entered into the accident book. First aid. During your site induction, the following information should be explained: where to find the first aid kit, who the first aider and or appointed first aid person is, how to contact or recognize the first aider and or appointed person, for example, green hat or sticker on hard hat, where to get first aid treatment. The primary aims of first aid are to preserve life, by carrying out emergency first aid procedures, prevent the casualty's condition from worsening, for example, by making the area safe or keeping the casualty from moving, and promote recovery, by calling an ambulance and arranging fast emergency medical help. Discovering a casualty. If you are first on the scene of an accident, your actions could be crucial. You should do the following: assess the situation. If it is safe to do so, remove or isolate the hazard. Go to the casualty and find out what is wrong. Call for help. If no one comes, explain to the casualty that you are going to go and find help and call the emergency services. Return and stay with the casualty until help arrives. It is crucial that time is not wasted. The priority is getting help, first aid, and the emergency services to the injured person as soon as possible. What employers must provide. Accidents and injuries do happen on site, and employers must provide the following: adequate first aid cover at all times when the site is in operation, including shift work, which may mean appointing trained and competent people to act as first aiders or emergency first aiders, and making sure they are available at all times the site is occupied. Sufficient and suitable first aid equipment for the hazards and the risks identified, for example, eye wash and burns kits. Arrangements for lone workers or, when the first aider is not there, a means to call for an ambulance or other professional help. They should also take into account how far the site is from a hospital or the emergency services. First aid roles. Based on the findings of their assessment of first aid needs, an employer could choose to provide first aid cover by appointing one or more of the following roles. Appointed person. First aid is appointed when a first aider is not needed in the workplace. Appointed persons are not allowed to give first aid. Their job is to look after the first aid equipment and facilities and call the emergency services if needed. Emergency first aider, trained to give emergency first aid at work, EFAW, to someone who is injured or becomes ill. First aider, trained in first aid at work, FAW, and able to provide first aid for a greater range of injuries and illnesses to someone who is injured or becomes unwell at work. Sometimes there may be other hazards on site, for example working in confined spaces, therefore extra training may be needed. If you use any first aid equipment, you must inform the person responsible for managing it, the first aider, the appointed person or your supervisor. Every site should have procedures in place in case of an emergency such as fire, serious injury, collapse, people trapped or needing rescue, or chemical spill. You must know the following information: how to raise the alarm, where to go and what to do, what the alarm sounds or looks like, the escape or evacuation route. Information should be given during site induction and displayed on notice boards or signs. Remember, sites are constantly changing and so can emergency escape routes. Make sure you always know your escape route and where any equipment you may need is kept. You should also be familiar with any emergency procedures that form part of your safe system of work, such as confined space rescue and rescue from height. Personal protective equipment. Personal protective equipment (PPE) consists of items of equipment and clothing designed to protect you from a variety of hazards. The type of PPE that is designed to protect you from respiratory breathing hazards such as the inhalation of dust and fumes is called Respiratory Protective Equipment (RPE). Your employer must ensure the following. A risk assessment is carried out to identify any hazards and risks, and what can be done to remove or control them without using PPE. You are supplied with PPE, free of charge, told why it is needed whenever there is a hazard that cannot be removed or minimized to a safe level by other methods, how to adjust, fit, and wear it, and what to do if it is damaged or lost. You use the PPE, supplied as and when necessary and in line with the information and instruction given. PPE should only be used as a last resort. You and your site employer. What your site and employer should do for you. 1. Identify hazards and risks and completely remove them where possible. 2. Where there is still a risk, provide personal protective equipment (PPE) which protects you from those risks. 3. Show you how to correctly wear and care for your PPE, and where it should be worn. 4. Supply PPE free of charge. 5. Provide facilities to clean, store and maintain PPE. What you should do for your site and employer. 1. Wear your PPE at all times when needed. 2. Wear the right PPE for the task, wear it properly and make sure it is properly adjusted. 3. Look after your PPE as instructed. Care for it and it will care for you. 4. Report any PPE defects. Damaged, worn out or ill-fitting PPE will not protect you. Policies and site rules. Some sites have PPE policies or rules where you must use and wear head, eye and hand protection. This is because site workers and visitors can be exposed to a variety of hazards and risks, which can change daily and can be outside the control of the employer or site management. On most sites you can only take off PPE when you are in a safe area such as the site office or welfare compound. Some common examples of PPE are listed below. Safety helmets, hard hats. Safety footwear. High visibility clothing. Safety glasses, low impact eye protection. Gloves. There are times when you will need to wear other extra PPE, as identified in the following circumstances. From site rules or site induction. Instructions from your supervisor or employer. As a result of a risk assessment or a direction in a method statement. As directed by signs and notices. Other task-specific PPE is listed below. Impact-resistant eye protection, for example, safety goggles when using a disc cutter. Ear defenders, muffs, or earplugs. Safety harnesses and lanyards. Knee pads and overalls. Wet and cold weather clothing. Life jackets or buoyancy aids. Task-specific RPE includes half or full mask respirators. Your employer must provide the PPE, but you must be responsible for it and for wearing it properly. Take care of your PPE, keep it clean and inspect it regularly. Use your PPE, as instructed. Stop work and report any lost or damaged PPE to your supervisor. Do not work without it where it is needed. Types of personal protective equipment. Head protection. Safety helmet to help protect against head injury. Safety helmets must be worn at all times, except when you are in an area declared as a safe area by site management. A safety helmet is worn to protect you from falling objects or bumping your head. Your safety helmet will be most effective when you follow the guidelines below. Wear it the right way round, peak at the front. Adjust it so it fits snug and square on your head. Make sure it is fitted and worn with a chin strap if there is a risk of it falling off while working. Make sure it is fitted with a proprietary liner for cold weather. Do not wear it over your woolly hat. Do not cut drill holes, paint or apply unauthorized stickers to your safety helmet, as this can severely reduce its capacity to protect you in an incident. Do not wear hoodies or beanies under your hard hat. If extra comfort is needed to keep you warm, an approved manufacturer's lining should be used. Dropping your safety helmet from height onto a hard surface can reduce the strength, even if there is no obvious damage. If this happens, it should be replaced. Foot protection. Safety footwear must be worn at all times on site and should have protective toe caps and a steel midsole or other form of protection to protect from puncture injuries such as standing on a nail. Some offer better ankle support. Some offer good grip on slippery surfaces, such as safety trainers. Some offer increased comfort and are more suitable to trades, such as floor layers, who repeatedly kneel and bend their feet. High visibility clothing. All staff and visitors on site should wear a high visibility vest or coat as a minimum. There are 3 classes of high visibility clothing. Class 1, low visibility, tabards and waistcoats, suitable for general sites. Class 2, medium visibility, needed when working on or near A and B class roads or heavily trafficked sites. Class 3, high visibility, needed when working on or near dual carriageways, motorways, or airports. Body protection. Protective clothing can be used to protect against the following: strong oils and chemicals, for example, cement. Rough or sharp surfaces. Ignition and burning fire retardant. Extreme cold thermal clothing or heat long-sleeved, lightweight clothing. Extreme wet and windy weather. Hearing protection. There are two main types of hearing protection: ear defenders or earmuffs. These are worn around the shell of the ear and have to be a snug fit to be properly effective. Earplugs. These are inserted into the outer ear. Make sure your earplugs are inserted properly. They should not feel loose or fall out. Do not reuse disposable earplugs, as this can cause infection. Eye and face protection. The three main types are shown below. Eye injury sustained as a result of not wearing eye protection. Safety glasses and other forms of low-impact eye protection are not designed for tasks where high-impact eye protection should be worn, such as when using cartridge tools, grinders, or disc cutters. Different types of eye protection protect you against the following: flying debris and objects, chemical splashes, airborne dust, molten metal and sparks. Eye protection needs to be regularly cleaned and stored to protect it from scratching. You need to be able to see through your eye protection for you to be able to work safely. If your eye protection is scratched or messed up, then you need a suitable replacement. Safety glasses are only classed as low-impact eye protection and will not withstand an impact from flying debris when using grinders, disc cutters, cartridge tools, and so on. You are only ever going to have one pair of eyes, make sure you look after them. Hand and skin protection. Gloves should be suitable for the hazards and task. Using the correct type of gloves will protect your hands. If using chemicals, the gloves should be impervious, the chemical should not go through the glove onto your hands. It is important that gloves are regularly cleaned or replaced. Barrier creams are no substitute for gloves but can offer some extra protection. Using hand soap, hand cleaners, and after-work creams to replace oils lost from your skin will help in prevention. Never use solvents or spirits to clean your hands. These strip the protective oils from your hands, leaving you more prone to skin damage. Protection from sun exposure. You should be careful whilst working outdoors in summer, particularly in the 3 or 4 hours around midday when the sun is most intense. You should try to protect yourself from too much sunlight. Using protective clothing to cover up is one of the main ways to avoid the danger. Some other ways are listed below. Wear close-woven fabrics, such as jeans, and long-sleeved shirts, which will help to protect you from UV rays. Try to work and take breaks in the shade. Wear a hanging flap on the back of your hard hat to protect your neck. Keep a shirt or other top on. Use sunblock on exposed arms, face, and neck. Check your skin for signs of change or damage. Personal flotation equipment, including life jackets. If you have to work on, over, or near to water, there is a risk of drowning and you should be provided with personal flotation equipment, such as a life jacket. This should be worn properly at all times that you are at risk of falling into the water. Falling into water wearing your work clothing and boots, or even your tool belt, will drag you under or sap your energy quickly, especially in cold or fast-moving water. Self-inflating life jackets automatically inflate and turn you onto your back, even if you are unconscious, allowing your airway to open, helping you to breathe. Other, more basic but equally important equipment, such as life buoys, life rings or throwing lines, may also be provided. Where strong currents or fast-flowing water are present, there may be a need for other equipment, such as manned rescue boats. Types of respiratory protective equipment. To prevent exposure to harmful dust, fibers, fumes, and gases, employers must provide you with the correct type of respiratory, breathing, protective equipment, RPE. The choice of RPE will depend upon the nature of the hazard from which the protection is needed. In many cases, RPE will only protect against one type of hazard, for example, dust, although combined protection RPE is also available. Color coding is used to show what the equipment's filter will protect against. The choice of RPE must be made by an authorized, competent person. The wrong equipment or filter will offer no protection. As with all PPE, you should be told why it is necessary, how and when to wear it, how to keep it clean and store it, and what to do if you have any doubts about its effectiveness or if it gets lost or damaged. If you are issued with RPE, your employer should arrange for you to be face fit tested, to ensure the RPE fits your face properly and functions correctly. Where dust cannot be avoided, you must wear suitable RPE masks. Any mask you wear should have a British Standard, BSEN, number and/or CE mark printed on it. Disposable masks should have at least 2 adjustable straps and may have a flexible nose band to shape around the bridge of your nose. There should be a good seal between the face piece and your skin. Facial hair and other items of PPE, such as safety glasses, can interfere with the fit. Cheap, disposable, nuisance, dust masks from DIY stores do not meet PPE standards. They offer little or no protection and should not be used. Common types of RPE include disposable filter masks, half and full mask respirators with replacement, disposable, filter cartridges. RPE should have a filter rating FFP3, FFP2 or FFP1. The filters can protect against different hazards, such as dusts or vapors, and are color-coded to show what the filter is suitable for. FFP3 will offer the maximum protection. These reduce the dust you breathe in by a factor of 20. FFP2 are good for medium risk. These reduce the amount of dust you breathe in by a factor of 10. FFP1 are suitable for light-duty work, such as sweeping up. These reduce the amount of dust you breathe in by a factor of 4. FFP3 gives a protection factor of 20, meaning that for every 20 dust particles outside of the mask, it is predicted that only 1 would pass through the filter material. FFP3 masks are the most common type used in the construction industry. FFP1 or FFP2 masks are unlikely to give enough protection against hazardous dusts. The seal should be tight against your face. Facial hair can reduce the effectiveness of the RPE. You should be clean-shaven at the start of each shift to make sure the RPE seals properly against your skin. The risk assessment or control of substances hazardous to health, CSCS, assessment should say what type of filter is needed. If in any doubt, ask. You have the right not to breathe in harmful dusts and fumes. Protect yourself today, breathe easily tomorrow. Personal protective equipment, PPE, consists of items of equipment and clothing designed to protect you from a variety of hazards. The type of PPE that is designed to protect you from respiratory, breathing, hazards, such as the inhalation of dust and fumes, is called Respiratory Protective Equipment, RPE. Your employer must ensure the following. A risk assessment is carried out to identify any hazards and risks, and what can be done to remove or control them without using PPE. You are supplied with PPE, free of charge, told why it is needed, whenever there is a hazard that cannot be removed or minimized to a safe level by other methods, how to adjust, fit, and wear it, and what to do if it is damaged or lost. You use the PPE, supplied as and when necessary and in line with the information and instruction given. Thank you for watching and good luck for your test.